Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Is my voice clear?
Yes, sir. Your voice is clear.
Yeah, thank you for joining in this forum, Dr. Angela Ocortes
Yes, sir. Thank you.
and Professor Dr. Nunu Suryani MPD, as well as Dr. Mami Indrayani MS as our resource persons. Shall we start now? Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Magandang hapon,
Yes, magandang hapon.
selamat siang,
Salamat pagi.
selamat siang. Yeah,
Salamat siang.
right. Welcome to the plenary session of the Focal Conference, AICoSHE, Academic International Conference on Social Science, Humanities, and Education, organized by Universitas Muria Kudus. Today, it is a great honor for us to have three invited speakers who will be sharing their expertise in our conference. The first is Dr. Angela Ocortes. She is the Dean of College of Education of NUST, Philippines. The second, Professor Dr. Nunu Suryani, MPD. She is the Secretary of Directorate General of Teachers and Education Personnel, Indonesia. And the third, Dr. Mami Indrayani, MS. She is the head of Research Institute and Community Service of Universitas Muria Kudus. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start this plenary session, please allow me to inform you the guidelines of this conference, of this plenary session. The first presentation of the resource persons will take 30 minutes. And then the second, there will be an open forum for questions and clarification for about 10 minutes. And the third, for participants, you may deliver your questions or clarification directly after you raise your hands, or you can also type your questions and clarification in the chatting forum. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think everyone is ready to start this plenary sessions. Excuse me, we would like to pause in a minute. Photo. Yeah, this is a message from the organizing committee that we would like to take a photo session. We are going to have photo session first before starting the plenary session. Would you like everyone to activate the camera? Thank you. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And then one more time. Let's take the photo. 1, 2, 3, go. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the main session of this plenary session. Let's welcome our first plenary speakers, Dr. Angela Ocortes. She is the Dean of College of Education, NUST, Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology, Philippines. For about 30 minutes ahead, Dr. Angela is going to share her expertise on the topic of novelty in teacher education literacy in time of pandemic. And before we give the floor to Dr. Angela, allow me to read briefly her short curriculum vitae. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Angela Ocortes earned her bachelor degree majoring in physics from Central Luzon Polytechnic College in 1993. She got her master degree in physics from the same university in 1997. And then she continued her doctoral degree majoring in vocational technological education from New via Ekija University of Science and Technology in 2006. Actually, there are still many more curriculum vitae that we cannot read one by one, including her academic achievement, like academic awards, scholarship, as well as intellectual properties. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Angela O. Cortez. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, sir, for that kind introduction. Am I audible to all? My voice is clear?
Yes, it is clear, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. A pleasant day to all. And before I may begin with this lecture, I would like to express my gratitude to the leadership of Universitas Muria Kudus, most especially to his Honorable Rector, Dr. H. Suprano, sir, and to Mr. Motohar, the UMK Head of International Affairs, for this opportunity to share in this academic international conference on literacy and novelty. It is indeed an honor to be with you today in celebration of your 40th founding anniversary. Congratulations, UMK.
Thank you, Dr. Angela.
As I am sharing my PowerPoint. Is it visible to all?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. Well, the sector of education from basic to tertiary levels and even in the graduate and post graduate levels is now under tensile strength test. In physics, tensile strength is the maximum stress that a material can withstand while being stretched or pulled before breaking. In our case, the education sector was subjected to this immeasurable strength test caused by COVID-19 pandemic, and we all felt the impact. And despite of this test, we are still here all together with the same goal, and that is to maintain the novelty of education even in time of pandemic. So allow me to share how NEUST, or the Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology in the Philippines, maintained the novelty of teacher education literacy even during this time of pandemic. When COVID-19 was declared as worldwide pandemic in March 2020, where all of us, the whole world, so to speak, actually made a 360-degree turn. One of the most affected sectors is the education sector, and this pandemic of the 21st century brought us all down in a position where the only choice we have is to face the impact and act on it head on. And I believe that we act immediately. Now, in the Philippines, there was this massive information drive. And this information drive was immediately done by the government and all private health institutions and agencies to educate our people about the COVID-19 and everything about this virus that can kill the most vulnerable, the elders and the children. And in this action, the education sector played a crucial role. The three agencies in charge of the Filipino youth education are the Department of Education for Basic Education, and that is from kindergarten to grade 12, and the Commission on Higher Education, and the TESDA, or the Technical Education Skills Development Authority. The education sector led these massive information drives for students and their families in coordination with all the agencies of the government. Now, in the Philippines, 40% of the present population comprised the youth sector. And before the pandemic, 27.2 millions of this number were in school. But as of August 2020, only 23 million were back to school, or an 18.26% admit all. Sorry, it's difficult to do two tasks at the same time. Going back, as of August 2020, there were only 23 million students back to school. And out of this, there was 18.26% drop. And that is quite high and a kind of sad situation, and considered as one of the ugly impacts of COVID-19 pandemic. Anyway, a lot of questions we had, a lot of apprehensions we experienced, and a lot of do's and don'ts we identified in the field of education in this time of pandemic. We raised the following questions. First, how the semester was managed towards completion. I am referring to the first quarter of 2020. Second, how the school managed to open the current semester, and I am referring now to the second to fourth quarter of the current fiscal year 2020. Third, how the schools may possibly proceed to the next semester. I am referring to the first quarter of 2021, and what are we expecting in the coming school year, and that is the school year 2021 and to 2022. Answers to the first question were already done, and we shall have a fast run of what have taken place. Answers to second question is now ongoing, and we will make a rundown of the various actions being implemented. But answers to questions number 3 and 4 involve identified plans. Now, to answer question number 1 on how the semester was managed towards completion, at the onslaught of the pandemic period, the education sector in the Philippines was in face-off with the how to manage the remaining of the school year towards completion. During the first quarter of 2020, when the World Health Organization declared a world pandemic, the basic education under the Department of Education was already in the final phase of the last quarter of the school year, 2019-2020. So there was little problem on how to handle the classes, since the period of declaration was already the same period of final examination and preparations for closing ceremonies. For those areas where there was no transmission yet, final examination was on staggered basis, while for all areas with confirmed virus transmission, final examination was canceled, and the DepEd issued department orders guiding the teachers on how to compute the grades and the promotion of the students. As for the higher education institutions, there were two groups of HEIs, those which have academic calendar from June to March, and those with academic calendar from August to May. And this is where NEUST belong. The first group was in their last shift of the second semester, while for the second group, they were in the early part of the second semester. While the TESDA, on the other hand, was not affected so much because it is operating under a different setup, training schedules, and other activities. Now, the Commission on Higher Education issued this advisory number 1, focus on prevention, control, and screening, avoidance, and in attending and organizing big events. And following were issuances of advisories number 2, 4, and 5, focus on class suspension, withdrawals of our deployed OJT trainees, suspension of international travels and all, all health protocols to be observed during the implementation of the community quarantine. Now, the month of March 2020 was a very busy month communicating with our partner industries, cooperating schools and partners for the recall of our students, while classes in the university were all suspended until further notice was said. Now, the Commission on Higher Education, that is for higher education institutions, advised for the conduct of online classes and the use of flexible learning modalities, that because of too many feedbacks where everyone was not ready, because of the inability of great majority of students to cope with the sudden change in the modality of teaching, said advice, there were lots of negative feedbacks. So said advice was enhanced and the CHED issued this advisory number 3, which evaluates, it said, for us to evaluate students on the basis of available indicators as of this time and advise us to forego other curricular activities for the remainder of the semester. Also, CHED advisory said, number 3, said that we need to exercise discretion to postpone graduation ceremonies. Now, for HEIs with academic calendar of August to May, the CHED advisory number 6 was issued on the implementation of alternative learning mode because we were still in the beginning of the second semester. That is, towards completion of the semester in lieu of the residential learning and student internship program. To close the semester, our teachers at NEUST were advised and encouraged to exercise high level of compassion in evaluating the students for the second semester of school year 2019-2020. For great majority of subjects, the students were all given a passing grade, depending on their accomplishments before the lockdown. For research subjects, which is a vital requirement for students before graduation, they were given conditional grades and a year to complete. For engineering and IT subjects, as well as those enrolled in OJT, their grades were based from their accomplishments before the lockdown. Now, for the second question, how can the schools open the next semester? Okay. For HEIs, with academic calendar of June to March, they did not open in June. The Department of Education also did not open in June. And they were all encouraged to use a new calendar, and that is to shift to August to May academic calendar. In most HEI, including NEUST, summer classes or mid-year classes were suspended. In some HEIs, which continued their mid-year classes, which are purely online, were guided by advisory number 7, in which only those students, graduating students who need to complete their academic requirements and students whose subjects are scheduled in the summer under the PSG of their degree program, and those students taking graduate studies are the only students to be allowed to enroll in the summer classes. To prepare the university for the opening of classes, we crafted, approved, and institutionalized various guidelines and policies. These actions were guided by CHED advisories 1 to 7, especially number 6, where a survey was conducted in NEUST involving 100% of its more than 24,000 students and around 650 faculty members in all 6 satellite campuses and 7 academic off-campuses. Our university is quite big. In the College of Education, it is where we train our future teachers. Education courses are offered in 3 satellite campuses and in all 7 academic off-campuses. And we have around 5,000 students enrolled. You may be wondering that this number is so big. Now, you can imagine, as supervising dean, about 5,000 students were under my supervision and around 100 faculty members. The survey results said that 78% of our students, and that is around 3,900 students, have weak connectivity since they only have their smartphones or cell phones as technological device available. 6% have no connectivity at all. They are the members of the indigenous peoples and the children of beneficiaries of Pantawid Pamilyang Filipino program or the 4Ps project of the government. And only 16% which has good connectivity, and that is around 800 students who have the capacity to get engaged online. So we address this issue. During this complicated preparation for the opening of classes, our Superman is our personnel in the management information system, because they were tasked to prepare programs. Aside from the learning management system, they were also assigned to prepare programs for online qualifying examination for incoming first-year students, also the online enrollment and the online transactions and settlement of students' concerns on records and finances. So the university MIS was our Superman up until now. And of course, our superwomen were the teachers, because these teachers were subjected to massive trainings, online teaching, enhanced modular teaching, and that is side by side. They were engaged in the revision of our curriculum map, the revisions of our syllabi of instruction, and of course, the writing of our self-learning modules. And this is along with their attendance to various webinars and workshops organized by CHED, universities and colleges, private and government agencies, locally and internationally, like the CIMEO and UNESCO. These teachers also responded to the social, mental, psychological, economic, and other needs of our students and the Department of Education as our stakeholders. Also, responding to the needs of our frontliners in the locality. In fact, yours truly is the chairperson of the NEUST Quarantine Center here in our university. In this time of pandemic, with the question on how to maintain the novelty of teacher education literacy and how to maintain the fire of excellence in education, that is the biggest challenge. Because teacher education courses are board courses, meaning to say graduates are to take the professional licensure examination, and we really need to guard excellence in our level. What we did, first, we revised our curriculum map. Where teaching internship, OJT, and the field study were moved to second semester. We have also revised the curriculum submitted. This revised curriculum was submitted to CHED for content notation and was approved by the University Board of Regents for implementation. Second, which is the consequent action, is the revision of our syllabi of instruction, where we reduce and merge our learning competencies focused on most essential learning outcomes. We also reduced our contact hours. And this was approved by the College Academic Council and distributed to all campuses offering teacher education. And that includes 10 campuses. Also, our teachers were tasked of writing their self-learning modules for our students. The revised syllabi of instruction were the basis of the crafted self-learning modules, and these self-learning modules underwent rigid process on quality assurance. Each module was evaluated by two committees. First, in the college, by the Instructional Material Development Review Committee. And then this module was subjected to flag scan and Grammarly check before it was submitted to University Academic Standard Committee. A teacher's module must obtain an ASC certificate before it may be allowed to be reproduced. The production of self-learning module was financed by the university and sorted, packed, and distributed by teachers. And these were all given to students for free. Who are these students? The 78% who have weak connectivity and the 6% who have no connectivity at all. Now, uniformity speaks of standard, and standard is an indicator of quality. In order to guide our teachers on the uniformity of learning modalities to be utilized under the new normal, the college formulated its own guidelines for flexible learning and modular teaching as guided by SCHED CMO number 30. The teachers were oriented to these guidelines, and these guidelines will also share to all CMEO members through webinars. And my special thanks to Dr. Valenzuela and the CMEO Secretariat for organizing those webinars, which paved the way for NUST College of Education to share our practices to as many teachers as possible. Thank you so much. Now going back, before the August 24 opening of classes at NEUST, students and parents were oriented of the guidelines. And this opened their minds and hearts that the peculiarity of the situation requires the highest level of patience, resiliency, and cooperation. To receive messages for parents and students' concerns, we launched at the College of Education 4 hotline numbers and a fora where they can communicate with us. And these hotline numbers were very effective in addressing students' concerns, especially their problems and queries, since the students were not allowed to come to school. And so we started the classes and implemented all the crafted policies and guidelines. This was part of the presentation in CMEO webinar last October 15. This slide shows a few evidences of our teachers' collective actions to maintain the novelty of the teaching profession and in maintaining the fire of excellence burning in the College of Education. So we started the implementation. Was the road to implementation a smooth one? Well, as expected, the answer is no. It was never smooth. So we have two major modalities here of learning for two groups of students, the 16% who underwent the online modality, asynchronous and synchronous setups, and another group of 84% of our students who availed the modular learning modality. The difficulty in the implementation lies on the following observed conditions. First, the 16% and the 84% are mixed in its section and year level of our students. So there were difficulty in putting them in one section for homogeneity sectioning because they have different fields of specializations and year levels. Moreover, the rule of majority cannot be applied by the teacher because if the student has financial difficulty to sustain online classes, you cannot say it was the rule of the majority, because saying those words means depriving them of the opportunity to learn. The teachers will always physically and mentally exhausted in meeting the learning modality needs of the students. I'm sure you can agree with this. The modalities produce lots of papers, reports, activities, and submissions, which are needed to be checked and returned to students. The most affected organ of the body are the eyes. Even the internet access of teachers have difficulty. It was actually a perennial and countrywide problem in the Philippines, plus the occasional loss of electricity supply. And we experienced at least 4 times lockdown in our college because of exposure to COVID-19 infected individuals. Yes, it was never smooth. We observed higher dropouts of our students compared before the pandemic. The guidance and counseling office of the college is manned by 3 guidance counselors and 1 psychometrician. We refer to them these students who showed indications to drop from the class. Some were convinced not to drop, but majority of those who expressed their intentions really dropped from the roll. Their common reason was on financial matter, to finance online classes, submission of class activities, cell phone loads, inability to cope with the demands in terms of time and efforts. Now, we also have this bi-monthly formative assessment we conduct by the teachers, and those in the online classes showed less outputs, perennial problems on connectivity, lots of complaints, and cause of financial problem. With those in the other type of modality showed better outputs, more appreciated modality, therefore there were less complaints, and difficulty. This modality showed difficulty in the delivery of subjects in mathematics, physics, and chemistry. To address the problem, the first enumerated problems that focus on perennial problem on connectivity and financial problem, our university, the NEUST, in partnership with the local government units, the Department of Information and Communications Technology of the government, and the Commission on Higher Education, and launched the project Community Learning Resource Center in 15 towns out of 28 towns of the province of Nueva Ecija. NEUST trained the assigned manager of the Project Community Learning Resource Center on how to operate the system, on how to address the needs of the students, and we assisted them in crafting the steps to be followed by the students. And this center is now operational and is assisting our students. Now, this project, Community Learning Resource Center, was endorsed by the National CHED as model project for other higher education institutions and state universities and colleges in the whole country to duplicate, to reach as many students as possible. Thus, NEUST is the leader in this project. These are some of the captured moments when our students are engaged during asynchronous and synchronous modular learning, and few pictures of students' engagement during online classes. As you can see, they were in different locations, such as in the field, under the tree, outside their houses. And these are basically because those were the points where signal is strong and connectivity is possible, using only their cell phones and smartphones. But what's important here is they are with us during learning activities. And on top of the above academic related activities, the College of Education and 12 other programs in colleges and the university is preparing for the accreditation visit via online of the accreditors from the accrediting agency of chartered colleges and universities in the Philippines. In the College of Education, we will 3 of our programs will be evaluated by AACo. Level 3 phase 2 for elementary education, and level 4 phase 2, the highest level for secondary and industrial education. And the college never forgot its duties with our fellow Filipinos, especially our adopted schools affected by the pandemic and typhoons Rolly and Ulysses. This is how we maintained and guard the novelty of education in NEUST. Now for question number 3. Now how the schools may possibly proceed to the next semester. For the students, we learn from the challenges and opportunities encountered during the first semester. So we will do the following. For the students, since the modular teaching earned positive feedbacks and better results, we will repeat the process. We will also intensify and promote the utilization of the Project Community Learning Center using various media. And in the coming semester, since field study subjects, teaching internship, and on-the-job training can no longer be forgone, we submitted a guidelines for the teaching of these subjects. These guidelines were submitted to the Board of Regents for approval for implementation. Now, in the said guidelines, the teaching internship and field study subjects will all be in campus. The conduct of these activities will also be guided by a self-learning module. Yes, nothing beats the face-to-face. We call traditional immersion for the needed experiences of students in the field and during practice teaching, but then this is the new normal. Now, what about for the teachers? What are the plans of the university? The NEUST administration recently passed a resolution and found a source for internet assistance for teachers and other benefits. So the university is assisting through the provision of this financial assistance. The alternative work arrangements will be modified based on existing government policies and issuances for the safety of our teachers and all personnel of the university. Moreover, the training department of the university and the Office for International and Domestic Institutional Linkages of the university crafted a program for the provision of free trainings and other opportunities for learning and development of our teachers during this time of pandemic. As for the administration, the NEUST administration is committed to provide every possible form of support, financial, material, human resources, opportunities, connections, everything for all the members of NEUST community. And this, they will exercise full transparency in all the things they will do. And of course, the administration never failed in recognizing the contributions of all the stakeholders, the teachers, the students, the community officials, the alumni, and all other members of the community, academic community of NEUST, in all their contributions in all its endeavors, from planning to implementation and meeting challenges. What are we expecting in the coming school year? Will there be available vaccine for all? Let us hope. Will all the students get a dose of the vaccine? Will it be free or with pay, making it affordable only for those who have the means? Will the 18.26% drop increase or decrease? Who knows what's gonna happen in the next school year? Are you familiar with the song, Que sera, sera? Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see.
Que
Que
sera,
sera, sera.
sera.
But then, from our experiences, and we were about to end the current semester in about 3 weeks here in NEUST, we are getting by. We are learning continuously, and we are adapting with this new normal. We are guarding the novelty of the teaching profession. And I believe these are proofs of individual and organizational resiliency. I would like to end with this thought. If you are to look for the most resourceful ingenious, adaptive, flexible, and most resilient men and women who can sail along in any changes that this world brings, purposibly or not, even during pandemic time. Don't look anywhere and elsewhere because they can be found in all educational institutions, in any UST, in Universitas Maria Kudus, and in your respective universities. And they are known to all of us as teachers. The novelty of education literacy, be it in teacher education or in any other fields, is manifested by the devotion and commitment of the institutions of learning in upholding the dignity of the teaching profession. Thank you so much. Mabuhay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Angela Cortez, for the inspiring and fruitful presentation. This really inspired all of us here in this forum to cope with the problems of education during this pandemic situation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Angela has addressed many points. This is a reflection to the condition in Philippines, more specifically, how an EUST cope with the problem of education during the pandemic. And it's very interesting and inspiring. Dr. Angela started with a description of problems, just like, for example, the cancellation of final exam, problem of connectivity, and then communication with institutional partners, and many more. And then there came a solution from the institution, and I can get as a big point or an important point of the solution, that is by creating a self-learning materials. It's a very good idea since students are far away there, cannot meet head-to-head, face-to-face to the teachers. So self-learning material is a good idea to be developed. And also one more thing, as the development of this solution, that was by creating or developing a project, namely a project Community Learning Resource Center,
Yes.
which is it's a good idea because I think we need to work together, the university and the stakeholders, and also the society, including the government. And Dr. Angela said that it was supported and endorsed by the government. Well, sorry, yeah, let me, yeah, okay. Sorry for the technical problem. I couldn't show the video. Well, I think there are some more points to learn and study from Dr. Angela. I think now we come to the session of discussion or questions or clarification. So we would like to invite all the participants to give comments, questions, or clarification. We will have more time because unfortunately, Professor Nunu and Dr. Mami Indrayani couldn't make it to be here in this forum due to a certain technical problem. So we have quite more time for the discussion. All right. Let's.
Yes, you have
Yeah.
questions, queries, or clarifications, they are welcome.
Okay. You may give direct clarification or question, or you may type your questions in the chatting forum.
Excuse me, Pak Agung, may I ask questions?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. This is from Bapak Cahya
Okay,
Fajar. Yeah.
this is me, Pak Cahya Fajar Budi Hartanto. Yes, I come from Polytechnic Bumi Akpelni in Semarang, Indonesia. This is a vocational maritime education in Semarang. My question is, how about the best practice in Philippines when there are some schools or universities that is concerned in the polytechnic or academic, which is it is vocational. It should be more practical than the theoretical. If we only do by online learning, sometimes we very difficult to get the knowledge or understanding from the students because we need to do practice in laboratorium or in the simulator on workshop, something like that. So how can we improve the knowledge of the student in how can we improve also the knowledge of the teacher or the lecturer to make the online course for the vocational and technical education? I think that's my question. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Actually, sir, that is a problem that is still unsolved up to now. But we need really to make way in order for our students to learn, even during this time. Nothing beats the face-to-face or traditional learning, especially for laboratory active subjects, engineering subjects, IT subjects, OJT subjects of our students. However, in this time of pandemic, all we can do then is to prepare a learning module for them so that they have something to do. Things that they can duplicate inside their locality, within their locality, or even inside their houses, respective houses. Now, in support with that, the university may also invest with the state of the art laboratories wherein simulations can be done. Okay, and it is just so lucky for the College of Education that we were granted 4 state of the art laboratories. So we are conducting simulation activities via online. So we have state of the art physics laboratory, speech lab, chemistry, and biology laboratories. Same is true with our engineering department. But of course, there are lots of experiences they need to acquire that cannot be provided by online classes. So we just hope and hope and hope that we can get back to what we used before, what we used to be, that we can go back to before the pandemic, because really nothing beats this face-to-face learning. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Angela Cortez. How is it, Bapak Cahya, Mr. Cahya Fajar Budi Hartanto? So there are a lot of best practices that we can do as done by NEUST, like exploring the locality, laboratory development, and online simulation activity, and many more. So this can be some ways as the reflection, as the reflective solution from our own institution or university. All right. Well, I think there will be some more questions or comments or clarification. And in this forum, we also have Bapak Mutohar. Yeah, he is the head of International Office of Universitas Muria Kudus. Thank you for joining in, Bapak Mutohar, Mr. Mutohar. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Sir Motohar, for the invitation for this convention.
Right.
Though honestly, we are very busy right now in these universities. At about 3 o'clock, I will have to be in the conference room of the president,
Oh, I see.
because there will be a presentation of our video for the evaluation of the accrediting agency next week.
I see.
So in as much as I really wanted to join with you up to the end of this webinar, yeah, I really have to attend to this very important activity of the college.
Okay, Dr. Angela.
Thank you very much,
Thank you very
Dr.
much.
Angelica.
Okay, we still have around 15 minutes to share questions, comments, or clarification?
Okay, Pak Agung,
Yeah,
may
go
I have
ahead.
questions to Dr. Angelica?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Okay, again, I'm quite curious about the way the teachers or the lecturers give assessment to the students during the pandemic. Is
Yes.
there any standard that we can make it lower than the common one, yeah, during the pandemic? So I'm asking about the assessment of the students. Thank you.
Yes, about assessment. Of course, there were lots of trainings where we can subject our teachers with various forms of assessments. But we do not use quiz or examinations here right now. Very seldom, but we give quizzes. Very seldom. Actually, we did not give our midterm examination. What we did is identified all the learning competencies as stipulated in our syllabi of instruction. And these learning competencies were identified, whether these competencies were obtained, acquired, or learned by our students. So we only have this assessment of learning competencies. We did not give final examination, or rather midterm examination, unit tests. It's more on the giving of activities, checking them. That's more on alternative assessment. It's more on portfolio. It's more on, yes, the assessment is more on that. Um, because the giving of quizzes, the giving of examination, they may, uh, become burden to our students. The time of learning, the time of discussion, the time of reading the modules, they occupied most of their time. So preparation for quizzes or examination may take maybe additional burden to them. So we opted to just determine if the learning competencies were attained or not. If not, then the teacher will have to do more efforts, exert more efforts in order to check on this matter. Yes, that's how we do here in NEUST.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much,
Yes.
Dr. Angelica.
Thank you very much, Bapak Mutahar and Dr. Angelica. We still have 5 minutes before we go to the parallel session. Maybe one questions or clarification. Yeah, while waiting for the comments or clarification, I think I do agree with what Dr. Angela has suggested. Yeah, I think during the pandemic, the best to do is go back to the nature, go back to be reflective to the daily learning activity by recording their activities and then making portfolio for the whole activities they already did in during the learning activity. It's a good idea, I think, and more authentic to the best
Yes.
of my knowledge.
Yes. That's true, sir. That's more authentic. And we help our students cope psychologically. We are not burdens to them, but rather the approach would be as friends, as counterpart, as support mechanism in order for them to really survive this very trying, very hard time. Most of the reasons of these students why they dropped from the role was that these students really find difficulty in coping with the required number of hours of reading the modules, and they have no one to ask about the contents of the modules. That is very difficult because the parents could not even understand what's written in the module. So how can they explain the contents of the module? So that's very hard and difficult on the part of the students. I have a child studying in one of the biggest school in the Philippines, the University of Santo Tomas. Even if she is really equipped with the technological devices, but she often complained of the difficulty of understanding the contents of the learning activities provided to them. How much and she often asked me about it. What about if the parents is not like me? I mean, if the parents is not a teacher, what if the parents is not somebody who could understand the lesson? Even in college, even students in college, they really find it very, very difficult. So if we give examinations, if we give quizzes, that is adding salt to an already wounded individual. That's my personal opinion. That's why in here, I do not encourage the giving of examination in the College of Education. Yes.
Yeah, I think it is now being addressed by the government of Indonesia. That is to omit the final exam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very good. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
that's right. And substituted for the daily or regular activities. So
So we
we
have
can
similarities of
similarities.
approach.
I think
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think we come to the common idea to
Yeah.
cope with this problem, Dr.
That's why
Angela.
we are partners now.
Okay, that's
Yeah, in
right.
our faculty exchange program.
Right. And it's
Very
a
proud here.
right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have to stop the session of plenary session.
Yeah.
And then later we continue to the parallel session. We would like to thank you very much to Dr. Angela Ocortes. Thank you for being here to give the inspiring and very beneficial and fruitful idea and knowledge to all of us here. And
Thank
we
you
do
very
hope,
much as well.
right? And we do hope that we can meet again in another forum someday, some other time.
And face to face next time.
Yeah,
Hopefully, we can meet each other face to face.
hopefully.
Yeah.
And we do hope, as expected by everyone, that the pandemic situation will soon end.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
we can go back to
Amen.
our campus to learn together with
Amen.
our students.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you to all our audience. Thank you to those who raised their questions. And thank you to the management, to the leadership of Universitas Muria Kudus.
Okay, well everyone, ladies and
God
gentlemen,
bless. And keep safe as well.
ya, maraming salamat.
Selamat
Selamat sore.
siang. Sore.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please join me to give applause to Dr. Angela E. Cortez.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, I got a message from the committee that due to the absence of the next two plenary speakers, we are going to go directly to the parallel session. So, would you please go to the Zoom room of the parallel session? Okay, we would like to stop for a while to prepare for the parallel session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Angelica Ocortes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think to be more simple and to be more efficient, we will have the parallel session right here in this room Zoom. So we would be glad if all of you can stay in this Zoom room. And to excuse me to Dr. Angela, if you would like to attend this session,
Yes.
we would be glad to.
Yes, thank you. But then I will have to attend to the activity I have mentioned earlier. I will leave the room. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Good luck, Dr. Angela. Thank you.
Itu enggak berarti? Tulisan. Aku ya, moderator tanya. Pak, aku moderator. Mungkin langsung diganti siapa? Yang ada berarti langsung. I don't know. I just must. Nggak ada kok. Berarti yang Bu itu sama teman ya? Respon. Tapi saya dibaca juga. Dibaca. Tapi habis itu nggak ada respon sama sekali. Karena kan memang sahabat sih. Terus tadi malam nggak tak email, nggak tak WA sama email itu terkait link. Gitu. Ini mau AICoSHE? AICoSHE selesai. AICoSHE sudah.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the honorable parallel speakers, we would like to start the parallel session directly in this Zoom room. So we would like all of you, the presenters, to get ready for the presentation. So the first presentation will be given to Mr. Sorry. Yeah. To Junil A. Constantino and M.A. Teresita C. Vega. They are from teacher education graduates of NEUST San Isidro, Philippines. Have you been here in this forum? Okay, sorry for this pause. So in this parallel session, we are going to have some terms of group presentation. And now we are going to we are going to invite the first term of presentation. The first is Mr. and Ms. Junil A. Constantino and Ms. M.A. Teresita Civica. And then the second is Ms. Tiara Verita Yastika, Sheila Amalia Salma, Dino Kaisaron, Yunita Nugrahini, Safrudin, Afin Rizky Pramadya. And the third speaker is Nikade Supri. So we would like to give the first chance for 10 minutes ahead for Mr. Junil A. Constantino and Ms. M.A. Teresita Civega. Are you there? Or maybe we can give the chance first to Ms. Tiara, Ms. Sheila, Amalia, Dino Kaisaron, Yunita, Safrudin, and Afin Rizky Pramadya. Are you there in this forum? Okay, maybe we would like to call the third speaker in this group presentation, Ms. Nikade Surpi.
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Okay, would you please take the first chance of presentation for 10 minutes ahead? We would like to give the floor to you to present an article entitled Hindu Literacy, the Basic Concept of Education and Literacy Pattern in Upanishads. Okay, the floor is yours, Ms. Nikadek Surpi.
Okay, thank you. Om Swastiastu. Good afternoon, everyone. Dear respected professor, my fellow academician and researcher, thank you for the chance to me. I am Dr. Nikadek Surpi from Hindu Dharma State University, Denpasar, Bali. I would like to present my research entitled Hindu Literacy, the Basic Concept of Education and Literacy Pattern in Upanishad. Okay. A few weeks ago, when I got the information about this conference, I thought I should join and share about Hindu literacy. For me, this is very important considering our national literacy rate is very low and has not increased much in several years. In this presentation, I will focus the basic principle of education and literacy in the Upanishad. Okay. The Upanishads are the foundation of Hindu knowledge, which is an integral part of Vedic corpus. The Veda is divided into several texts and explanations. The Upanishad is the part of Veda that explains Veda's philosophical side, or we call Jnana Kanda. I studied 10 Upanishads to find literacy pattern, which are the basic concept of Hindu education. In Hindu Dharma, education is the soul of civilization. Generally, the education system changed a long time, yet it still holds the same spirit. In Vedic period, Hindu education is implemented in the form of learning in the middle of the forest. It is intended so that the both teachers and students can concentrate fully on the education and student personality. Upanishad is the reference of and base of Veda education system. It's developed a long time. However, unfortunately, Hindu education today seems to lose its root amid the modern education pattern. Therefore, Hindu education today should be back on its primary source, the Upanishad, because Upanishad's education purpose is to build superior human character. It developed not merely intellectual dimension, but also understanding, attitude, emotional, and spiritual question is also included. as the Hinduism believed that human development has to be done holistically and simultaneously. This study used a qualitative method that's the form of the text Upanishad. Data collection was carried out on Upanishad texts using the Vedic hermeneutic perspective. The Upanishad texts studied were Isha, Kena, Katha, Taittiriya, Aitareya, Mundaka, Mandukya, and Prasna Upanishad. Okay, now I would like to talk about the basic concept in Hindu philosophy in Upanishad. The concept of Hindu education must be linked back to its spirit in ancient education, which was applied in the Upanishad era. Hindu education institutions should be re-explore their educational culture roots to make significant contribution to build a superior education system in future. Because Hindu civilization has placed education as the center of development. The Upanishad use various learning and discussion methods such as enigmatic method, aphoristic method, etymological method, mythical method, etc. This method can be used separately or simultaneously following the learning context. They said there are three essential stages of learning in the Upanishad, namely Sravana, learning by hearing, Manana, thinking and reflection, Nidhyasana, realization by meditation. Okay, in conclusion, I can point out that Upanishad can be an inspiration to improve learning abilities and increase literacy. It is essential to change the mindset that education not only for living and earning income, but also for building a good life. From this point, I propose that there must be serious effort to improve community-based literacy, such as in religion. If community literacy increases, it will affect the national literacy level. Now we have great challenges and opportunities to increase literacy. With the contribution of many parties, we will be able to build a better literacy spirit for the sake of our country. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Agung.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nikadek Surpri, for the inspiring and fruitful presentation. Dr. Nikadek Surpri just gave an overview about her research on literacy development based on Upanishads. So according to Dr. Nikadek Supri, there is a literacy pattern that can be explored from Upanishads ceremony. That is the Vedas philosophy of education. And the goal of this Upanishad as Vedas philosophy of education is to build superior human characters. Through hermeneutics perspective, finally, Dr. Ni Kadek Supri found that Upanishad can be the inspiration for educators to improve students' literacy, but there must be a working together, a cooperation from any parties to build a community of a developing literacy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think this first group of presentation will be continued to discussion, but let us address Mr. Junil Constantino and M.A. Teresita Siveka. Have you been here in this forum? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What about Ms. Tiara, Sheila, Mr. Dino, Yunita, Safruddin, and Afin Rizky Pramatya? All right, maybe this we can wait later. And now we proceed to the session for discussion. So we would like to invite all of the participants, including the parallel speakers, who want to give comments, questions, or clarification to Dr. Nikadet Surpri. The floor is yours. Okay, maybe while waiting for the comments or questions from the participants, maybe I'd like to address or give questions to Dr. Nikadet Surpri. What about the implementation of this finding? Is the finding compatible to all levels of education students, or it is only for higher education students? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sir. Upanishad education relevant for all stages our level. But we have so many techniques and so many methods we can implement it in higher education, like what we call tarkawada, like debug and anwiksiki, critical thinking. Also, we found at Upanishad and another source in Vedic corpus. So that's different method according to the level the education. We can pick out many methods. So from the implemented in primary school and also in higher level, but we must choose the better concept and better pattern from the Upanishad. So in Hindu Dharma, now we learn so many Upanishad. There's Upanishad actually is they're written long ago, ancient, maybe 1000 BC to 500 AD. It's a very ancient text in the world, but different contexts we can implement it until now. So we pick up the good one for the good stages education. I think it's a very rare source or something maybe not so familiar for you, because this is from Hindu civilization, from the Vedic corpus. But I think if we want to increase our literacy level, we can use so many sources for the increase our literacy level in Indonesia. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Nikadet Surpri. This is very fruitful and inspiring.
But sir, one good point we can find in Upanishad, that Upanishad lead to higher quality of life, not only earning money from our education, but to lead higher quality of life. That's the soul of education in Upanishad. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nikadet Surpri. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Okay, let me pause for a while for coordinating with the other committees, whether we still have to wait for Mr. Junil Constantino and another presenter, or we can move to the other group presentation. Okay, dear the honorable plenary speakers, I think we can continue to the next group of presentation. This is the second group. Okay, first we'd like to thank you to Dr. Nikadet Surpri for having given the presentation. Let's,
You are welcome, sir.
right.
Thank you.
Let's join me to give applause to Dr. Supri Dr. Nis Kadek Supri. Thank you.
Thank you. Om Santi Santi Santi.
Okay. All right. Now we come to the second group of presentation. The first will be from Miss Ari Ani Diastioningrum with the title of article, An Analysis Pengaruh Manajemen Keuangan Terhadap Ekonomi Keluarga. And then the second presenter, Miss Dini Ramadhania, Fendi Suprihadi, and Miss Fajrinti with the title of article, Women Leader in Indonesia, Perjalanan Karir, Tantangan dan Kebutuhan. And then the third is Mr. Farid Nur Ramadan and Muhammad Arifin. Mr. Farid Nur Ramadan and Mr. Muhammad Arifin with the title of article, Improving Graduates Profile Through Tracer Studies at University. So we would like to give the first chance of presentation for 10 minutes ahead for Ms. Ari Anitya Stioningrum. Are you there, Ms. Ari Anitya Stioningrum?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Agung.
Yeah, I would like to give the floor to you for 10 minutes ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. I will share my presentation. Okay. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Agung Dwi Nur Cahyo, for the time. Let me introduce myself. My name is Aryani Diastioningrum. I'm from Nautical Study Program, Department of Nautic, from Indonesian State Maritime Polytechnic or Polimarin, Semarang. Now I will present my research with the title, The Influence of Financial Management on the Family Economy. Okay. Women have an important role in the household, change in the pattern of the community life, especially in economic, have led to change in the role of women in improving the family economic. Women in the household not only act as wives and mothers, but also as a regulator of the family economy. Managing household finance is not easy for women. Proper financial management will have an impact on household welfare. If it's wrong in management household finance, it can be worsen the economic condition of the family. Family financial problems are not only due to insufficient income, but also due to improper financial management. Management can be applied within the household. The household is the smallest organization in society. Household financial management is carried out by making household budget or planning, sorting household needs, spending to meet household needs, and supervising the household economy. So the focus of this research is about the influence of management function, namely planning, organizing, actuating, and controlling for the family economy.
Excuse me, Ms. Ariani.
Yes.
Can you slideshow the PowerPoint?
Okay.
Because it is
yes.
too small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. And next, about the methodology. This research design uses a quantitative research method. This study aims to analyze the family economy in terms of household financial management. The type of data is quantitative, using questionnaire and interview. The independent variable we used to variable, independent and dependent variable. The independent variable is about the role of women in financial management, which consists of household financial planning, financial organizing, financial actuating, and financial controlling. And the dependent variable is the family economy. The data analysis tools will process using smart PLS or partial least square. Okay. The result and discussion. Household financial. Okay. The first, I will present about the impact of financial planning. Financial planning to family economy. Also, financial planning has an effect on the family economy. Respondents state that they make plans for household expenditure. This means that women in the household always make a plan so they can be controlled properly. Financial organizing has no significant effect on improving the family economic. This could be because the respondent in the study were in almost the same environmental condition. So it's possible that respondents do not have a variety of answers about financial management in the household. The result of the study not to prove that the variable of financial actuating or financial implementation has no effect on the family economy. And the last, the effect of financial controlling. Financial control is carried out by making lists and making financial record even though they are simple. The result on the study indicate that the financial control variable has a positive and significant effect on improving the family economy. So the two variables, financial planning and financial controlling, has effect to family economy. Okay, the conclusion. The study aims to prove empirically the effect of management function, planning, organizing, actuating, and controlling in relation to improving the family economy. Based on the result, the research, it can be concluded as first, financial planning and financial controlling have a positive and significant effect on improving the family economy. The variable of the financial organizing and financial actuating have no effect on improving the family economy. And the last, all of variable have 59.3% on the variable of the economic improvement. Thank you. I think it's enough, Mr. Agung.
Thank you very much, Miss Ari Anityastianingrum, with the title of article, The Impact of Finance Management Towards Family Economy. And the result of the research states that the financial planning and controlling give positive and significant impact to the family economy. So we have to manage our finance to have a good economy of our family. I think that's a good idea. Yes. Well, right, questions and answers will be after the presentation. Now we come to the next presenters. This is the group presentation from Ms. Dini Ramadhania, Mr. Fendi Suharyati, and Fazrinti, with the title Woman Leader in Indonesia, Perjalanan Karir, Tantangan dan Kebutuhan. Are you there? All right. I think the second presenter hasn't been or are absent for this session of presentation. We come to the next or the third presentation. That is from Mr. Farid Nur Ramadan and Mr. Muhammad Arifin, with the title of article, improving graduates' profile through tracer studies at university. Are you there, Mr. Farid and Mr. Arifin? All right, maybe we have to wait. And while waiting, let's have the session for questions and answers. We would like to invite all of the participants to give questions or clarification to Mrs. Ari Anidia Setioningrum. Yeah, the floor is yours. You may type the question or you may directly deliver the questions by raising your hands or directly speak.
May I ask Pak Agung?
Okay, Mr. Cahaya Fajar.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. To Ariani. Yeah, we are neighbor, Bu Ariani, because our campus is so close.
Right.
Okay. I'm curious about the second result or conclusion about the research that financial. There is four, right? The planning, organizing, actuating, and controlling. Then the actuating, financial actuating, the real actuating in the finance has no impact to the economic improvement. So is there any explanation or something that you can find in the research that you can know to about the reason why the actuating financial is not has no impact to the economic improvement? And that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I will answer. Thank you, Mr. Fajar. Okay. Yeah. The result not about the financial actuating is has no effect on the family economy because my respondent all the respondent used in this study are not maybe because all of respondent used in this study is located in the same environment and geographic. So the condition of the northern region of Semarang. Jadi gini Pak, saya pakai bahasa Indonesia saja ya Pak ya, biar lebih gampang. Jadi untuk responden yang saya gunakan itu adalah responden yang ada di Semarang Utara. Nah, untuk actuating ini saya gunakan variabelnya itu dalam pola pengeluaran belanja. Jadi bagaimana perempuan atau woman itu dalam mengeluarkan belanjanya. Apakah dia mengeluarkan belanjanya itu di pasar atau di mall gitu Pak. Jadi kalau di pasar itu asumsinya harganya lebih murah, lebih lebih terjangkau sesuai dengan kondisi ekonomi mereka. Sedangkan kalau di mall itu mall atau supermarket gitu ya, itu harganya lebih mahal gitu. Nah, saya menggunakan variabel itu dan ternyata tidak berefek. Mungkin karena kondisi responden yang saya ambil itu adalah daerahnya sama, semua sekitar Semarang Utara, semua yang jauh dari mall. Jadi kalau ditanya semuanya belanja di mana, pasti semua belanja di pasar. Jadi akhirnya pelaksanaan ekonomi atau pelaksanaan belanja tadi itu tidak berpengaruh terhadap peningkatan ekonomi, terhadap kondisi ekonomi, karena memang mereka belanjanya hampir semuanya, semua responden itu sama gitu. Jadi itu alasan kenapa tidak berefek begitu Pak. Terima kasih Pak Fajar.
Okay, that's the answer from Ms. Ari Anitya Fajar. So this is because of the environment. Maybe this will apply differently if we do the research in different environment. Thank you, Ms. Ari Anitya. Okay, let me pause for a while to have a coordination with the other. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems that Ms. Dini, Mr. Fendi, and also Mr. Farid and Mr. Muhammad Arifin couldn't make it to be here in this session. Now we go to the next group of presentation. And before we go to the next group of presentation, let's please join me to give applause to Ms. Ari Anidya Stioningrup. Now we come to the next group of presentation. We have here the first presenters, Mrs. Zuliati and Mrs. Zamrud Mirah Delima with the article Effectiveness Accounting Information Technology to Employee Performance, Empirical Study on MSMES in Jepara District. And then next will be the next presentation from Ms. Nurdiah Rahmawati and Mrs. Panca Winah Yuningsih and Ms. Dina Lucianti with the article, the title of article, Analysis of the Leadership of the Region of Speeding Handling COVID-19 in Indonesia. And the last presenters of this group presentation will be Mrs. Poni Harsanti and Mrs. Ulfa Rizki Mulyani with the title of presentation, with the title of article, Testing of Fraudulent Financial Statement with the Benes M-score model for manufacturing companies listed in Indonesian Stock Exchange. We would like to invite for the first presentation to Mrs. Juliati and Mrs. Zamrud Mirah Delima to take the first turn of presentation for 10 minutes ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. I will share my presentation. Okay, can see?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay. I will introduce our research. I am Juliati with my partner, Zamrud Mirah Delima from Economy and Business Department, Muria Kudus University. My research is titled Effectiveness Accounting Information Technology to Employee Performance, Empirical Study on MSMES in Jepara District. Introduction. Industry Revolution 4.0 today requires MSMES players to understand and registering digitalization in many industrial sectors. Registering this staff become important in order to make better business advancement. Later, it will be hoped to create any opportunities for increasing competitive advantage. It also demands quality and competitive human resources. Review of related literature. I use TEM, Technology Acceptance Model Theory. TEM theory is aimed to explain and estimate acceptance of user. Employee performance for dependent variable. Effectiveness of accounting information system, work culture, incentive, information technology utilization, information technology relevance, interpersonal communication skill as independent variable. Research methodology, I use primary data with population, all employee in MSMES in Jepara Regency with amount about 200,000 participants, and with purposes sampling, I can use Slovene formula that were both 105 respondents with criteria MSMAS employee who treat financial book and finance transaction, employee who is involved in accounting information system such as accounting, cashier, and finance division. This is my research framework. Can you see it? And result and discussion with multiple linear regression analysis with determination coefficient R square get about 95% of the dependent variable, namely employee performance, can be explained by 6 independent variables. With the F-statistic test, that significant value 0.00 mean that is smaller than 0.05, so it can be concluded that the effectiveness of the use accounting information system and the other is significant. This is my hypothesis test with statistical test T can conclusion that hypothesis 1, 3, 4, 5 is accepted and hypothesis 2 and 6 rejected. Okay. The conclusion, the effectiveness variable of accounting information use, incentive, utilization of technology and technology relevant effects significant on employee performance. Meanwhile, work culture and interpersonal communication skill don't make effect on employee performance. Technology can increase the employee performance, good employee performance, so good MSES performance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. And it's very inspiring, Mrs. Zuliati. It was about the effectiveness of accounting information and technology to the employee performance. And the result of the research done by Mrs. Zuliati states that there is an impact or positive impact of the accounting information technology for developing the employee performance. And now we go to the next presentation from Mrs. Nur Indah Rahmawati and Mrs. Pancha Winahyuningsih and Mrs. Dina Lucianti with the title of article, Analysis of Leadership of the Region in Speeding Handling COVID-19 in Indonesia. Are you there, Mrs. Nur Indah?
Yes.
Okay. The floor is yours. We would like to give you 10 minutes ahead to present the article. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Indah Rahmawati. I am the author of this paper. This paper titled Analysis of Regional Leadership in the Accreditation of Handling COVID-19 in Indonesia. My team is Pancha Winahyuningsih and Dina Lucianti. We are from the Faculty of Economic and Business, Muria Kudus University, Indonesia. I present this article on the first academic international conference on literacy and novelty, AICoSHE. Let's get started. Introduction. Indonesia officially announced the first COVID-19 test on Monday, the 2nd of March 2020, since it was first announced until the 22nd of October 2020, the spread of COVID in Indonesia has continued to increase. This increase is a serious concern of the government. On the 13th of March 2020, the President, as head of state, formed a task force to accelerate the handling of COVID-19, which was directly responsible to the President. As a follow-up to the presidential decree, the Ministry of Internal Affairs on the 29th of March 2020 issued a circular regarding the information of a regional COVID-19 handling task force in which the governor, region, mayor became the head of the regional COVID-19 handling acceleration task force and cannot be delegated to other officials in the region. Besides that, the governor is also a directing member of the COVID-19 National Task Force. On that basis, the governor, as the highest provincial leader, took several steps to accelerate the handling of COVID-19 in his region. This is in line with the statement of Dr. Maria stated that the last journal from countries that have successfully dealt with COVID-19, the key is leadership. With regional autonomy, the governor's role has become the main symbol of handling COVID-19. Research methodology, the methodology in this research use library research. The type of data used is secondary data in the 3 provinces with the most cases of COVID-19, and data collection technique are carried out, refining article online media about COVID-19. Discussion. The first province to announce the COVID-19 case in DKI Jakarta as the last is Gorontalo. Based on the highest number of positive cases as of the 22nd of October 2020, out of 34 provinces in Indonesia, DKI Jakarta is on the first rank, followed by the second, the most largest case is East Java and West Java, and the least is Bangka Belitung. This is a challenge for the governor to accelerate the handling of COVID-19. The governor, as the highest leader at the provincial level, has an administrative function, namely formulating policies. Policies that are made must be with careful analysis and consideration because they will have an impact on all sectors of life. The governor of DKI Jakarta issued 52, the governor of East Java issued 12 policies, and the governor of West Java issued active 5 policies. Conclusion. For more than 7 months, we have lived together with COVID-19, and until the 22nd of October 2020, the graph of positive cases of COVID-19 continues to increase. Various efforts have been made by the governor as the highest leader at the provincial level. Of the 3 provinces with the highest number of positive cases of COVID-19, the 3 of them form a task force, established a COVID-19 emergency, and established regulation which all have the same goal, namely to accelerate the handling of COVID-19, which ultimately lead to an adaptation period new habits, life peacefully side by side with COVID-19 by implementing health protocol is every activity. Thank you for your attention. Stay healthy.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Nur Indah Rahmawati for the presentation. We get some points of overview, and I think it comes to one point from the presentation of Mrs. Nur Indah Rahmawati that a policy ruled by the government gave very influential impact to all sectors, including to the handling of the spreading of COVID-19 in Indonesia. And there are three provinces that were analyzed by Mrs. Ina and her partner of researchers. Okay, thank you. Now we go to the next presentation. We would like to give the turn to Mrs. Poni Harsanti, Mrs. Ulfariski Mulyani to present the paper entitled Testing of Fraudulent Financial Statement with the Beneš M-score model for manufacturing companies listed in the Indonesian Stock Exchange. We would like to give 10 minutes ahead to the presenter. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Agus Peter Cahya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Poni.
I introduce my name is Poni Harsanti and my team Ms. Ulfa Rizky Mulyani. We are lecturer of Economic and Business Faculty from UMK. Today, I would present my article entitled Testing of Fraudulent Financial Statement with the Beneš M-score model for manufacturing companies listed in Indonesian Stock Exchange. What the background of the research? The first, as we know, fraud is an act that is carried out deliberately and carried out for personal or other purpose that causes harm to certain parties. The Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, I share my PowerPoint. Okay. Sorry, I forget it. Okay. The first, as we know, fraud is an activity that is carried out and carried out for personal or other people's purpose that causes harm to certain parties. Yeah. The Association of Certified Fraud Examiners state that the types of frauds that are most detrimental in Indonesia are 77% corruption, 90% misuse of assets, and 4% fraudulent financial statement. Although the presentation of fraudulent financial statement is still low, the losses resulting from this case are quite large, reach more than 10 billion. Second, there are research gaps between the study conducted by Fadilah show all variable Beneš M-score affect the detection of fraudulent financial statement. But study conducted by Anomo and Fanny So Muhammad no effect fraudulent financial statement. In various studies related to frauds, there is one analytical tool to detect fraud in corporate financial statement, namely the Beneš M-score model. Beneš M-score model is an analysis tool that is used to detect fraudulent financial statement of the company.
Excuse me, Mrs. Poni, would you please slideshow the screen to make it bigger?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can you make a slideshow to make the presentation bigger. It is too small.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I finished?
Right. Okay, please continue, Mrs. Pony.
Yes. Then the purpose of the research was to test back the effect of Penis M score model variable against fraudulent financial statement on manufacturing company as listed stock exchange. Framework, that's my research. J sales and receivable index, cross margin index, asset quality index, sales growth index, depreciation index, sales general and administrative expense index, leverage index, total accrual to total assets has effect positive to fraudulent financial statement. So, next, research methods. Okay. The secondary data of manufacturing company in Indonesia Stock Exchange, that is the financial report, periods 2016 until 2018 as the population of the research. Section of the sample using the purposive sampling technique acquired 69 company. The analysis method of data using analysis of regression logistic tests with assessing the overall models, statistic, the Hosmer and Lemon show, goodness of fit test, and the coefficient determination. Next, results and discussion. Based on the analysis in the table 1 above, the value of significant Hosmer and Lemon show that the value of chi-square of 9.976 with significant at 0.882 greater than alpha 0.05. From the results, it can be seen that the model regression logistic already fulfills the eligibility data. 2. Based on the table above, so the decreasing of two likelihoods value on the regression model logistic, then B concludes the regression model is good or hypothesis model fit to the data. 3. Based on the result on the calculation above, the negative R square value is 0.723, which means the ability of all variable, day sales, receivable, gross margin, asset quality, sales growth, depreciation, selling and general administrative expenses, leverage, and total accrual to total asset index to fraudulent financial statement is 72.3%, while the rest of them will explained by other variable outside of the result. Next, 4. Based of testing of 8 hypothesis fit is done by using the logistic regression method. The test results show that day sales, gross margin index, and total accrual to total asset have a significant positive effect on fraudulent financial statement. And other, well, the asset quality index, sales growth index, depreciation index, sales general and administrative expenses, and leverage index have no on fraudulent financial statement. Okay. Conclusion. The self-service index, cross-matching index, and total accrual index, a significant positive effect on fraudulent financial statement. While the quality index, sales growth index, depreciation, sales general and administrative expenses, and leverage so have no effect fraudulent financial statement. 2. The ability of the variable in explaining fraudulent financial statement is 72.3%, while the rest will be explained by other variable outside the results. Suggestion: the next research is expected to expand the research period. The number of companies investigated will be increases and are expected to add other variable independent such as financial ratio. Okay, finish. Thank you. And now Mr. Agung Dinasanya. Thank you for attention. All.
Okay, thank you very much. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Polly Harsanti, for the great and fruitful presentation. Now we come to the session of questions and clarification. We would like to give 10 to 15 minutes ahead for the discussion after the presentation of Mrs. Zuliati, and then Mrs. Nur Indah, and Mrs. Dr. Polly Harsanti. The floor is yours. You may share your questions by typing the questions in the chatting group. Or maybe if you are willing to share the question directly, you can raise your hands and then speak directly to the forum of this Zoom meeting.
Excuse me, Pak Agung. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I write down on my paper there is one question, but I forgot who paper is it.
Yeah.
I think the first in this group, the first in the last group that is
from
about
Mrs. Zuliati.
Yeah, I think yes.
Effectiveness of accounting, information and technology.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay, please.
Yeah, there is one result also that make me curious about the and a big question about the work culture. I think there is no impact to the employee performance. So as long as we know until today that the work culture in a company or organization or institution is the best way to improve the employee performance by telling the staff or of the worker about the work culture of the company or the institution. It can hopefully improve the performance of the employee. But the research show that there is no impact about that. So maybe we can also get some explanation about that from Bu Suliati. Thank you.
Oke, terima kasih Pak Cahya. Mungkin saya menjawabnya pakai bahasa biar jelas.
Ya,
Pada UMKM yang ada di Jepara itu bicara tentang budaya kerja itu bagaimana. Salah satu contohnya, saya kasih salah satu contohnya. Kalau budaya kerja, misalkan kita gajian itu kan umumnya tanggal 1, tanggal 25 gitu ya. Tapi kalau biasanya pada UMKM di Jepara itu umumnya tanggal gajian itu mingguan dan diberikan pada hari Kamis. Berarti hari Jumat libur. Kalau kita umumnya kerja, liburnya kan hari Minggu. Minggu atau hari besar ya, hari besar, hari merah gitu kita libur. Tapi untuk budaya kerja di sana itu biasanya seperti itu. Kemisan itu bayaran, hari Jumat itu libur. Nah, kemudian untuk pengelolaan dalam UMKM itu juga sifatnya masih banyak yang tradisional, turun temurun ya, dari usaha kerajinan mebel itu sifatnya kan turun temurun, jarang yang ya, banyak juga sih, tapi ada sebagian yang sifatnya perusahaan itu perusahaan besar, sudah dikerjakan operasionalnya sesuai dengan manajemen yang betul. Jadi karena mungkin hal itu juga pengelolaan yang sifatnya konvensional, jadinya work culture tadi reject, tidak diterima hipotesisnya terhadap employee performance. Mungkin itu salah satu gambaran UMKM yang ada di Jepara itu tidak dikelola secara pure, tapi juga menggunakan sisi lain dengan budaya atau kebiasaan yang ada di sana. Begitu Pak Cahya.
Oke, Pak Cahya. Ada lagi mungkin yang disampaikan? Thank you, Bu Zuliati. Ya, terima kasih Pak Cahya.
Terima kasih Pak Cahya atas.
Ya, maybe one more questions or comments. Satu pertanyaan atau komen lagi, or maybe clarification. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think there is no more questions or clarification, and we would like to close this session and continue to the other group presentation. And to end this session of presentation, please join me to give applause to Mrs. Mrs. Zuliati, Mrs. Nur Indah, and Dr. Poni Harsanti. Give applause to all of the presenters. Okay, please give me a time to coordinate with the other organizing committee, whether we are going to have break time or we continue the group presentation. Please wait a second. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are going to continue the session of presentation to the next group of presentation. The first is Mrs. Nafi Inayati Zahra, And then the second presenter is Mr. Muhammad Shahrul Gunawan and Ms. Dian Erliana Febrianti and Mr. Rangga Primadasa. And the third presenters is Mrs. Dr. Mami Indrayani and Ms. Dina Lucianti. We would like to give the first chance to Mrs. Nafi Inayati Zahro to present the paper entitled Efek Growth Opportunity dan Intensitas Modal terhadap Konservatisme Akuntansi dengan Managerial Ownership sebagai variabel moderasi. For 10 minutes ahead, we would like to give the floor to Mrs. Nafi Inayati Zahro. The floor is yours.
Belum. Sudah. Oke, thank you Mr. Agung. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name is Nafi Inayati Zahra. I'm from Muria Kudus University. I will present our paper. My paper title is The Effect of Growth Opportunity and Capacity Intensity on Accounting Conservatism with Managerial Ownership Moderating Variable. The introduction, the purpose of financial statement is to provide information regarding the financial position and performance and all changes regarding the financial position, performance, and change in the financial position of a company that provide benefit to user of financial report for making economic decisions. From Levin and Wood reveal that financial reports that adhere to the principle of accounting conservatism are able to prevent information asymmetry, which can be done by limiting management in manipulating financial reports. However, accounting conservatism can also cause its own problem based on the theory from Jensen and Merkling, both a Keynesian theory which saw a conflict of interest between company owners or shareholders, principal, and management as an agent. The problem of this research is, does growth opportunity, capital intensity have an effect on accounting conservatism? Does managerial ownership strengthen both of them? The population in this study are all manufacturing companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange or BEI for the 2016 sampai 2019. The sampling technique in this study use a purposive sampling method, namely determining the sample and population based on certain criteria. Hypothesis testing in this study was tested using moderate regression analysis with a significant level of 5%. This is our research, modal intensity, growth opportunity, this is growth opportunity and managerial ownership as a moderating variable, and the dependent variable is accounting conservatism. This is my hypothesis. Growth opportunity have a positive effect on accounting conservatism. Modal intensity have a positive effect on accounting conservatism. Thus, managerial ownership strengthen the relationship between growth opportunity and accounting conservatism. Managerial ownership strengthen the relationship between capital intensity and accounting conservatism. And this is the result of our research. The conclusion, the growth opportunity did not succeed in influencing accounting conservatism because not all managers apply the principle of conservatism by minimizing profit to meet investment needs. The opportunity to grow a company requires funds, most of which come from external parties, so that the company does not reduce profit. And second hypothesis is accepted. Based on the result of the study, it shows that capital intensity has a positive effect on accounting conservatism, which is indicated by a significance value smaller than 0.05. And the third hypothesis is accepted. This study also succeeds in proving that the managerial ownership variable succeeds in becoming a moderating variable capable of interacting the relationship between growth opportunity and accounting conservatism, as evidenced by the significant value of both of them below 0.05. And I'm sorry, this is a fourth hypothesis. It is accepted. This study succeeds in proving that the capital intensity variable succeeds in becoming a moderating variable capable of interacting the relationship between growth opportunity and accounting conservatism, as evidenced by the significant value of both of them below 0.05. As a suggest for further research, it can take a broader scope not only in the manufacturing sector, but can be expanded to another sector such as the service sector listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange. And for further research, they can add independent variables related to accounting conservatism, such as company size variable. The larger the size of the company will pay a greater political cost, so managers will choose to reduce profit to be more conservative. Okay, thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for the presentation, Mrs. Nafi Inayati Zahra. Now we come to the second presenter. It is from Mr. Muhammad Shahrul Gunawan and Mrs. Dian Erlina Fabrianti and Mr. Rangga Primadasa. Are you here in this forum? Okay. All right. While waiting for Mr. Muhammad and friends, now we go to the next presenters. It is from Dr. Mami Indaryani and Mrs. Tina Lucianti. Are you here in this forum? Okay, let's give the chance to Mrs. Tina Lucianti to give or to present the article entitled Learning Based on Research and Community Service. We would like to give 10 minutes ahead to Mrs. Tina Lucianti to present the article. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Agung. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I will on research and community service. But first, I'm so sorry.
Miss Mami Indariani can attend this meeting because there another meeting can be cancelled. Okay, first I introduce myself. My name is Dina Lucianti. I'm from Economic and Business Department, Muria Kudus University. Okay, introduction. This is a collaboration and correlation about learner, lecture, and of course is COVID-19. The era digital information technology have an impact learning on level. Higher education as an agent must take the lead is responding to this new novel, at least by quickly adjusting the educational process is doing. The advantage of lecturer as a teacher is in higher education is that support by other activities such as research, community service, apart from learning itself. So that student will get enrichment of teaching materials from the lectures that come from the result of research and community service. The learning process is an entire activity designed to teach students, but everything has changed during the COVID-19. Quoting the Minister of Education and Culture statement, the condition of the COVID-19 pandemic does not allow teaching and learning activities to take place normally. There are hundreds of thousands of schools closed and prevent to spread around, and 88 million students are carrying out learning activities from home, and about 4 million teachers conducting remote teaching activity. Okay, about the research method, this research was conducted with an exploratory descriptive study approach. This study argues that research method aims to describe something or example, circumstance, condition, situation, event, and activities. We have the result first. 92% respondent agree that research and community service were beneficial for enrichment of teaching material. And then about 60% more about respondents have the agreement about always use the result of research and community service as example of learning case. And last, most respondents have give agreement about the pay attention to novelty. This is about discussion. At the time of outbreak of COVID-19 pandemics, there are always a shift in the learning model. It's called a blended learning. Blended learning, different with e-learning. E-learning or electronic learning method is teaching and learning use electronic media and use the internet as an intermediary in the teaching and the learning process. Meanwhile, blended learning is a way of teaching and learning that combines blended conventional education system with all digital system. Okay. In the conclusion, the results of research and community service are very good as a problem-solving experience for lecturers as an enrichment of teaching materials for students. Every lecturer is open to doing research and community service proportionally to support their competence. Students can get relevant and up-to-date teaching material. Students and lecturers can fairly make confirmation from open teaching source and teaching material based on internet. Okay, thanks for your attention. Time is well to Mr. Agung.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation, Mrs. Dina Lucianti. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the session of discussion. We would like to give a chance for all the participants to share questions or clarification for 10 minutes ahead. The floor is yours. All right. Oh, okay, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, while waiting for the upcoming questions or clarification, we would like to have a photo session. We're going to have a photo session. Would you please activate your camera? We're going to take your picture. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, thank you very much. Now let's continue. We are still in the session of discussion. Please give your comments, question, or clarification. If you wish to type your question, you can write or type your questions or clarification in the chatting forum. All right, everyone. I guess there is no questions for clarification. So we would like to thank you very much to Mrs. Nafi Inayati Zahra, and then Dr. Mami Indaryani and Mrs. Dina Lucianti for having presented the articles. Please join me to give applause to all of the presenters. Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is all for this session of parallel discussion. We are going to wait for the presenters who haven't got the chance to present the paper. Let me call the presenters, those who haven't got the chance to present the paper. First, Mr. Junil A. Constantino and Mrs. M.A. Teresita Sivega from Philippines News, Philippines. Are you there? Okay. I think Mr. Junil and Mrs. Teresita is not here in the forum. Now we continue to call the second presenter, Mrs. Tiara Ferita, Mrs. Sheila, Mr. Dino, Mrs. Yunita Nugrahani, and Mr. Afin Rizky Pramadya. Are you there in this session, in this forum? Okay. Now let's call the next presenters who haven't got the turn to present the paper. Mrs. Dini Rahmadania and Mr. Fendi Suharyati and Fajrinti. Are you there in this session, in this forum? Okay, now let's call again the next presenter, Mr. Farid Nur Ramadan and Mr. Muhammad Arifin. Are you there in this forum? Okay. Now let's call, Mr. Muhammad Shahrul Gunawan, and then Mrs. Dian Erliana, and Mr. Rangga Primadasa. Are you there in this forum? Okay, let's pause for a minute. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the end of the parallel session of AICoSHE, the Academic International Conference on Social Science, Humanities, and Education, organized by Universitas Muria Kudus. For further information, including the information for certificate claim, will be announced in the forum of WhatsApp group in further opportunity. Thank you for all the plenary and the parallel speakers and participants for having made the time, for having spared the time to join in this international conference. We call it as AICoSHE. We do hope that we can see you again in another academic forum in some other time in our university or in other institution. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih Pak Agung. Terima kasih panitia.
Terima kasih Bu Poni.
Sama-sama.
Pak Cahya.
Terima kasih ya Bapak Ibu.
Boleh live ya Bu ya?
Boleh sekarang Ibu. Bye-bye. See you. Have a nice day.
Thanks Mr. Putri.
Ibu, Pak Cahya ya. Thank you.
Okay.
Saya N ya Bapak Ibu. Terima kasih.